Yo guys, we figured out what that piece of copper is. I thought about it overnight. I really thought about it because I said in yesterday's video, I know what that piece is from. I just have to figure it out. And it is from a thrust bearing inside the turbo. I don't know if you guys remember about maybe a year ago, 8 months ago, the turbo on this car blew up. I don't know how that made it all the way through the motor and into the oil pan. I'm pumped that I figured it out, and I'm extremely pumped that we don't have to tear into the motor. The center walls look fine, the pistons look fine. I'm gonna pull off the little baffle, the windage tray on the motor, this guy right here, just to kind of check it out, go through it all, and make sure we don't have any damage from that piece of copper. I'm 99.9% sure that is what that guy is. And I know when I upload the video from yesterday, it still hasn't gone live. When I upload that video, I guarantee you there's gonna be other people in the comments that are gonna confirm that is what that piece is. The reason it looks so familiar is because we had a lot of these chunks in the intercooler when we cleaned it out, just like that, 100% just like that. So yeah, that mystery is now solved. That makes me really excited. What we're gonna do today, we have to clean up the pan, clean up this guy right here, pull off the whole oil pump assembly, go through the block, clean up the block. I decided I'm gonna be painting the block. To Cerakote that, we'd have to strip all the paint off to do it properly. So we're just gonna clean up the block, mask it all off, paint it, and obviously go through and just check out the rest of the bottom end. All right, we got the block cleaned up pretty decently. It's all degreased and whatnot. What we're gonna do now is go through and mask off everything that we don't want to paint. And then as soon as we get it all masked off, I'm gonna go through with maybe a wire wheel, some sandpaper, clean it up a little bit more so the new paint sticks. We're not gonna be using anything crazy. I just went to Home Depot and picked up some Rust-Oleum engine enamel. So I hope this holds up. I really wish I could Cerakote it, but I'd have to strip the whole entire block, which it's just not worth it. All right, so we just got the first coat of the black paint laid down. It feels kind of weird doing it this way. I know this isn't like a proper way to do it. It should be completely bare metal, but it's like, there's gotta be a point where you stop somewhere and you can't just keep going all out. It's not a restoration car that we're doing. It's not a SEMA show quality build that we're trying to accomplish. I'm just trying to clean up the damn block. So I have to be satisfied with a not 100% perfect looking block. Everything else that we're gonna be doing is gonna be top notch. Cerakoted or powder coated, everything will be fully sandblasted, except for maybe the cylinder head, just because you can't really sandblast the head unless you completely disassemble it, which is gonna take way the frick too long. So yeah, I just have to be satisfied with a not perfect looking block. So as that is drying, we do have a ton of other stuff we need to start cleaning up, sandblasting, and getting prepped for Cerakote and powder coat. I'm gonna lay everything out and show you guys what all we're going to be coating. So this here's everything that we're going to be Cerakoting. We have a ton of stuff: exhaust manifold, intake manifold, heat shield, water pump, some brackets for the engine. We have so much stuff here that we got to get coated. On this manifold, we do have quite a bit of work to do on it before we actually get to coating. So all the stuff on the backside we're going to be deleting, and then I want to cut all these nipples off that we're not going to be using and have them TIG welded in, filed smooth, and we'll have a much cleaner looking intake manifold. So I'm gonna work on this right now. Let's pull all this crap off that we don't need. So we have a completely bare intake manifold. The only things we still need on this manifold are this right here. This is for the map sensor. That is going to go to the BOV. That is fuel pressure regulator, and that one runs to the brake booster. Everything else on this intake manifold we can delete. And then also on the throttle body, these two nipples up top we're not going to be using. So I'm going to see if I can't pull those nipples out, get that filled in, and grind that thing smooth. We also pulled off the EGR, so I bought an EGR block off plate. It's going to cover that. And then on the head as well, oh, I don't have that here, it's at the shop. So yeah, this thing's ready to be sandblasted and coated. Since we deleted all the evap stuff off of the intake manifold, all that stuff pretty much connected to this line right here. And that runs all the way back to the fuel pump. We're not gonna plug that off. What we're gonna do is just grab a hose and route it down to the bottom of the car, just so it gives the tank a chance to still evap. So we're just gonna take this guy right here. This is from the evap system, and that has a one-way valve in it. So air can travel this way, like go down, but it can't come back up through. So we're just gonna throw this guy on, zip tie it on there, and we should be good to go with the evap system. There's also a few things on the tranny that we're gonna be coating, and I also do need to have something welded as well. For the longest time, this rear mount was only held on by this top bolt, and it's actually happened when my brother Austin was driving it. He shifted really hard and it snapped this ear off, but thankfully I still have that ear, so I should be able to get that welded back on and be good to go there. But we're gonna be coating that mount right there, and then this guy right here too is pretty crusty, so might as well coat that. This one up front, really good condition. I'm just gonna leave that one. Can't get too carried away with it. So we just put the third and final coat onto the side of the block. I'm gonna put it over by the fire, let it harden completely, dry completely, and then we can flip the motor over and do the other side. I don't wanna flip it over right now. There's obviously still some oil on the motor, and if the paint is wet, it's probably gonna ruin our sick paint job. Now that the motor is all painted up, we can't really do anything on that thing until we get some parts in the mail. We are also waiting on all the Cerakote to come in for all the coatings, but what we can do today is get everything prepped and sandblasted. Cerakote should be here tomorrow or hopefully the next day, and we still don't have the head back yet either from the machine shop, and I just want to Cerakote everything at once. All the stuff you see right here, we are going to be sandblasting. A few of the things we do have to mask off, like the intake manifold. We're going to be Cerakoting the water pump as well, so that's got to be masked off, and then the fuel rail needs to be masked, as well as this here throttle body. I completely disassembled the throttle body, something I've never done before. It was a little nerve-wracking, but we got it figured out. Cheers, mates. So I just took a bunch of time off of working on the Evo 8, kind of waiting for that block to dry. Bobby came over and we did a bunch of work to her car. So if you guys want to see what we did to her car, head on over to her channel. I'll have it linked up in the top right-hand corner. Go check it out. We're gonna head back down to the shop right now. The block should be dry enough to flip over, paint the other side, and we have a few things left to sandblast as well. There are so many parts that we are sandblasting and either gonna be Cerakoting or powder coating. This engine bay is gonna be looking really freaking nice. I wonder how much coffee you can actually drink in a day. This is like cup number 5. I don't know if it's bad to drink that much coffee, but to stay alive right now and to try to get this car done before snow, I'm drinking a lot of freaking coffee. I'll give you guys a little sneak peek. Here are Bobby's old wheels. So you know something that we did to her car. Anyways, here's the block. Looks really, really nice. It was like a high gloss black. I wish it was a little bit less glossy, so a semi-gloss, but they didn't have any semi-gloss engine paint, so this will do the trick. It'll probably fade down a little bit, especially when I run it. It still looks wet, but it's not like it's completely dry. So let's flip this thing over, get the other side cleaned up, painted. Let's head over here. Let me show you guys how many things I've got sandblasted so far. Ton of stuff. All this stuff has been blasted. We still need to go through, clean it all up, and I gotta figure out which parts I'm Cerakoting, which parts I'm powder coating. And then those are the only parts we have left to sandblast. All right, we are all done with sandblasting every single part that we're going to be coating. That is definitely the most time-consuming process of this whole rebuild that we're doing. I have probably like 10, 12 hours into sandblasting alone. So much sandblasting. There are quite a few things that I am still a little bit worried about, even though they're masked off. I still want to bring them in, have them gone through with like a hot tank, and just make sure there's no sand whatsoever. And that includes the intake manifold, pretty much anything that could possibly get sand into the motor. So the intake manifold, throttle body, I already dropped off the oil pan. I think that's about it for this stuff right here, but he already has the oil pan. He has my head right now, the machine shop does. Oil pan, head, and like the front case cover thing where the oil pump sits. I don't even know what that's called. I just call it a case. Here's how the block turned out. It looks pretty damn good. I'm gonna peel some of this back. You won't be doing any more painting on this. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped with how the block turned out. Let's hope it stays looking that good, just because we didn't ship all the old paint off. I'm kind of worried that it's not going to last all that long, but I guess time will tell. That's another thing with the block though. You're not really going to be able to see it, and even if this top coat doesn't last that long, there's still all the factory paint that was on the block. So I think we should be good. It looks really, really nice as of right now. We made some insane progress today. I'm pretty freaking pumped that we don't have to tear into the short block at all, or at least as of right now, we're not going to. I don't see a reason why we would. Just that little thrust bearing out of the turbo went through the motor somehow, and it didn't hit anything. Like the cylinder walls are fine and all that. So it's kind of crazy. We are waiting on a ton of parts to come in from MAP, from Mitsubishi, like OEM parts, just a ton of different stuff to get this thing back up on the road. I don't know exactly what we're going to be doing tomorrow. I have a few good ideas. If you want to see what I have in mind, stay tuned for tomorrow's video. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up right here. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Evo 8 rebuild. Peace out. I'll see you guys tomorrow.